All right, so welcome to course one. For this portion of the course, we're really just going to be going through an overview and kind of getting the fundamentals down of SEM and SEO and a little bit about inbound marketing and just having some of those dots connect to what is SEM and SEO. And actually, let me go over to the agenda. Okay. So, getting the fundamentals down, and then we are going to learn about Google Ads account structure. Now, when I'm reviewing this portion in this particular video, in this particular lesson, please don't feel like you need to take notes. I have a workbook for you. Just kind of listen and follow along. This part is really for listening. And even if things aren't clicking right in this first video, that's totally fine because we're actually going to be going through it a couple times. So this is kind of just an overview. And then we're going to be working in your workbooks where things will start to kind of click and cement more. And then we're going to be going into your Google Ads account. So we're actually going to be copying and pasting what we did in your workbook and then working directly in the account. So it's going to be like 3 different approaches to learning this. The first one, it's not going to cement, or it might, but if it doesn't, don't worry about it at all. That's the purpose of this course, is to teach it in a way where you will understand it. So let's go on to our welcome page here. It is an exciting day. We are actually going to be setting up your Google Ads campaigns. It's the longest day, but it is definitely worth the effort, and it's going to be fun. We're going to do it step by step together. All you small business owners and startups, we need you. You guys are rock stars. So let's get you up and running and get you visible to those who need the services and products that you offer. So just a couple of tips and suggestions would be to work along with your day one workbook while watching this. It would be helpful if you do have a monitor to work on so that you have 2 screens. But if you don't, it's okay. You can work by looking at the video on your phone and working on a computer as well. A computer is a must for sure. And then also pause this video whenever you need to, and you can work at your own pace. But again, for this particular lesson, you're not going to need to pause it. We're just overviewing everything. All right, so let's get started. So, understanding a little bit about digital marketing, there are some developments that have impacted the way that consumers and businesses market to their customers or other businesses. The way that this happens now is a method called inbound marketing. So, inbound marketing is different than traditional methods of marketing. Traditional methods of marketing include cold calls, they include showing up at your door, direct mail, and commercials like TV commercials. But nowadays, we have the ability to tune out a lot of traditional methods of marketing. So we can fast forward through commercials now. We have DVRs, we watch YouTube, and the commercials are fragmented in shorter time spans. Everything's kind of designed now to benefit the consumer and their attention span and their interests and their needs, because we do have robust capabilities with targeting and knowing how people navigate and use search engines. So anyways, Google has a way of collecting information. It's robust, and it's helpful for us digital marketers because we can reach the audiences and know a little bit about the audiences based off their IP address and some of their search history, so that we can make sure that we are able to market to them. Now, the 3 big things that have impacted really this transition from traditional methods of marketing to inbound marketing, it's going to be search engines and the ease of access for information, so people can get to what they need. They can research what they need right at the tip of their fingertips. Social media development. This is huge. People are now hanging out virtually. They're on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're on Snapchat, they're on all these different platforms, professional platforms like LinkedIn. These are huge social networking platforms where people can connect. So meeting someone where they're hanging out virtually, that's why this is happening. And this is why this is all really important for us to be able to meet our leads on the platform where they are hanging out. And smart devices. So phones have changed the way that we market in so many ways. It really is a mobile first, mobile preferred type format. Of course, right now, this is September of 2021 that I'm doing these videos, which means that you're in the pandemic. We're in the middle of a crisis, of a pandemic, and it is very serious. Interestingly enough, and on more of a light note, is that it has changed the way people now search, because we were getting used to using phones and making everything mobile first, but now we're actually starting to see a little bit of an uptick on desktop again. So it's interesting because these are important components to pay attention to, especially if we want to make sure that we are optimizing both desktop and mobile devices. So, anyways, there's just been this shift in how people search for information. And really, that brought about a need for digital marketing and an inbound method of marketing. So, really, this is reaching the consumer on their time. Today's consumer is well informed. They do their research through search engines. They fast forward through commercials and screen phone calls. They value convenience and time and efficiency, and they tune out outbound methods of marketing. These are all very important for us to know so that we can reach today's consumer on their time and in a way that's convenient to them. So, because of these shifts, that has brought a need for other areas of digital marketing. So, this includes SEM, SEO, video marketing, social media marketing, email marketing, and mobile almost has its own way of marketing, because you really do have to make sure that the way that you're presenting your information, your videos, your ads, your landing pages is all mobile friendly. So it just brought around these different areas. Content marketing, that's over in the SEO component, and we'll get into that in a second. Actually, I think it's the next slide. So we're not focusing on email marketing or social media marketing or SEO, but we're really focusing on SEM, which is search engine marketing, which is the paid ads. It's the immediate exposure and immediate results. That's the portion that we're going to be focusing on. Okay, so let's learn a little bit about the difference between SEM and SEO. SEO is organic, so it's not the paid side of marketing. SEM is the paid side. It's also considered PPC, which is pay per click. SEO is really informing consumers. It's all about informing through content, through blogs, through brand awareness, through relationship building, and it can take some time, but it is definitely well worth the time and effort spent on developing your SEO. It is, however, a marathon, because it takes, I would say, at the minimum 6 months to really start to see your efforts pay off. And for small businesses that don't have a website that is up to par, or you're a startup and you're still trying to develop all this, and it takes time. And it is something that I very much recommend. But let's first get you some leads, and let's first get you some money so that you can build and make money, and then you can reinvest in SEO efforts. And when you grow big, you can also look into hiring an SEM analyst like myself, or a digital marketing agency. I would just recommend making sure that you pick one that is in your niche. And the great thing about this course is you're going to be informed to make those decisions. So you're going to actually know a thing or two, and you'll know the questions to ask, and you'll know how to talk to digital marketing agencies, so you're not wasting a bunch of time and feeling like your ROI isn't happening for you. So this course will also get you launched and get you leads and sales at an affordable cost. Like, you're not going to be spending expensive fees. You're not going to be spending any fees on digital marketing. So these are all helpful benefits. We want to get you up and running. We want to get your customers to know who you are, especially the customers that are in need of your services. So that's your ideal buyer persona, your ideal customer. Okay, so now let's take a look at the difference between SEM, the paid ads version, and SEO. So really what SEM and SEO is, if somebody does a search for chiropractors near me, these are the paid ads. This is SEM. This is PPC. This over here is chiropractors near me for SEO. So these are the organic listings. And by the way, sometimes it does have these components there too, which is called site link extensions so that people can click here. But just for the purposes of showing this, this is an ad and this here is an organic listing. So the websites that populate in those first ranking positions organically are doing their due diligence with SEO. They've worked hard to build their website so that it is completely optimized, so that they have the appropriate long tail keywords that trigger. And keyword lists for SEO are very different than keyword lists for SEM. It's just a different form of marketing. For SEM, the ads that populate in those first ranking positions are ads. It doesn't necessarily have to have a massive budget. So what's really great about SEM is that it does level the playing field. You do get immediate exposure. And if you're doing your due diligence with setting up your Google Ads campaigns and optimizing them and having them relevant and specific to your landing page, then you are going to do well. You're going to get something called a quality score that ranks well. And it's your budget does have to do with it, but bidding strategy also has to do with it. So if you have a smaller budget, then a bidding strategy that works better with a smaller budget and not, if we're looking at a local hardware store and they're going against Home Depot is going to have a massive budget compared to your local mom and pop store, or maybe they have services that, that the Home Depot offers. So we want to help businesses go against these big competitors in a big way. So you can actually have those first ad ranking positions against the big competitors on a limited budget. You just got to do it right. So that's what this is all about. So here are some of the different types of ads that you can see. So again, these are the Google search ads here. Here is a Google display ad. So sometimes these populate on the side of your screen. If you're searching for something, you'll have an ad populate. They can also repopulate to you. So if you've recently searched for something and you're noticing that it follows you around for the next couple of days, those are display ads, and it's a form of remarketing to what somebody has recently searched. So don't worry, no one's following you around. That is the beauty of remarketing. So that's how it works. And I'll go into more detail about how it works. We will be building display ads too. Display ads are great for bringing awareness to your services. They are not high converters. Your best network is going to be the Google search network in terms of conversions and sales and leads. This is really going to be an important focal point to actually getting sales and customers directly, or people that, purchase your product, or if they sign up for a membership. Google search is really important in terms of conversion. So it's an important area to focus on and making sure we get it down right. The Google Shopping Network is completely different. So this is going to be what we do last. And if you do have only merchandise that you're selling, then you should still go through this whole process, because we will be building a Google Shopping campaign through Google Ads. So it'll be helpful for you to have your Google Ads account set up. And then we'll go through that component too. So if you just want to learn about setting up Google Shopping ads and you don't have merchandise, that's okay too. Join along. Okay, so Google Ads account structure, it is very similar to building your dream home. We have the campaign level, and that's really where you're going to want to make sure that you have a level foundation, that it's secure, because you're putting your house on it, right? You want to make sure that foundation is perfect for building. At the ad group level is where you start to build your house, and that's where you start to organize your house and draft where you want rooms and spaces and have everything structured and organized. At the keyword level, where we start to develop our keyword list, this is like laying the flooring down or carpeting. It's very important. Ad copy and ad images. This is the interior decor. So this is where we want to make sure it's looking enticing. It's really essentially what promotes you. It's what sells your product or service that you're trying to sell. And then you have extensions here. So these are the little areas that you can add some perks that would catch somebody or entice them to, want to click on your ad a little bit more. They're very important. I think extensions it can be very overlooked, and it's an important feature that can entice someone to go to you. We want to do everything right so that they go to you. So here is the Google Ads campaign structure. We start at the campaign level again. So that's, laying down the foundation. For a campaign, you want to focus on one product or service per campaign. Or if you're doing more of a general campaign, like say you are a landscaping company and you have a variety of services. You do mowing, you fall cleanup, some landscaping, trimming, you do retaining walls. You have a bunch of different services. There are general campaign types as well. Typically, it's going to be one service or like a brand campaign that kind of gives a little bit of a little variety of your services. At the ad group level, this is really where we start to organize your campaigns. This is where we create your keywords, and your keywords really are going to define your ad groups. What we're going to use is our template to create our keyword list, and those are going to be your ad groups. We're not going to have to reinvent any wheel. We're doing this in the most efficient way possible so that you have your ad groups organized in a way that people search. It's organized by how people search. And I've got those tools and tricks for you. At the ad group level, it's typically a maximum of 20 keywords per ad group. There's going to be a max of 7 to 10 ad groups per campaign and 2 to 5 ads per ad group. At this level is where you start your keyword list. Negative keyword list is going to be extremely important, and we will get into that later. But negative keywords are really key in making sure you are showing in front of the right customers. I can't express the importance of negative keywords enough. And then this is also where you can create audiences and remarketing campaigns. For search, we're not focusing on audiences or remarketing. We're focused specifically on keywords. So that will be more for display. And then at the ad level, this is where we focus on 2 to 5 ads per ad group. This is really where we build the ad copy. So it's going to be the headlines, the display URL, the descriptions, the extensions, the ad images. Ad images, again, is only for display. You're not going to be having any ad images for your search campaigns. Okay, so again, just showing the different campaign types. When we go into Google Ads, this is what we're going to see when we start to build our first campaign. So for search campaigns, we are targeting keywords, and we can do remarketing through keywords. For display campaigns, this is best for targeting audiences. And you can do remarketing campaigns through keywords. And really what that means is people that have recently searched for your targeted keywords and hitting them after, right? For shopping ads, this is really going to be a whole different process because we are going to be setting up your shopping ads through your Google Ads account, but we're also going to have to create a merchant center account. So this is a different process. If you don't have any merchandise, then don't even worry about it because it's not going to impact you. You don't have to follow along with this. It is a different process. And yes, we do target keywords, but it's not like the same as over here. It's the keywords that are pulled from your data feed. Also, video ads. So video ads is another component of marketing that is really becoming in the forefront, especially as people are spending a lot of time on YouTube. Video ads has become a very important component. So that is a type that you can also set up. And we're not going to be focused so much on video ads. It really is going to be search, display, shopping. Okay, so just to kind of, re-show this and re-cement this, I want to bring the slide up again. Google search ads, Google display ads, and Google shopping ads. So these are the different types of search engine marketing ads. So it's not SEO, it's SEM. Okay, campaign budgets. So this is a big question, right? It's kind of difficult sometimes, especially if you are a small business or startup and you're focusing on everything that you do well, how to determine what kind of budget you should set. And if you haven't made any money because, we're seeing this 12 to 20% of your gross revenue, how do you figure out what budget you should use? So this is what is recommended. This is a suggested marketing percentage for new businesses. And I did some research just to pull some information here that can maybe help you determine. This is really a suggested marketing percentage for new businesses or for small businesses. So this is towards your digital marketing campaigns, the campaigns that we are building. It's suggested around 12% to 20%, anywhere in that area that you feel comfortable. And you know what? If you don't feel comfortable investing this percent in your digital marketing, then that's okay. You can start with something small and we can work with your budget as long as we are setting up our bidding strategies and our keywords and our negative keyword lists. We can still perform on a very limited budget. You can still do well. And when we get into the Google Ads campaigns, I'm going to review the bidding strategy types. We need to do a manual bidding strategy. It's called manual CPC. That's the one that we're going to focus on. And it's the one that's going to be able to make you compete with the big businesses and your local competitors. So looking at this to determine your budget, for example, if you plan on making $80,000 in revenue in your first year of business and you wish to use 15%, your annual marketing budget would be $12,000, your monthly marketing budget would be $1,000, and your daily marketing budget would be $34. And guess what? This just goes towards your campaign. If you had a digital marketing agency, you would be spending well over this in fees alone for them to manage your campaigns. All right, so now we are at the ad group level. They're the level that's right before the campaign. So if we take a peek over again at this, we got the campaign, we've got the ad group level here. And again, this is where we are structuring our keywords. This is where we're structuring and organizing our campaign based off of controlled keyword. Don't worry about knowing this right now. If you're like, I don't know what you're saying, that's okay. This is one of those things that is not going to click until we start doing it. So it's suggested to have that max of 20, max of 7 to 10 ad groups, and 2 to 5 ads per ad group. Okay, so keywords, keywords, keywords. The way that we base what keywords we should pick for our campaigns and our ad groups is based off of what people are going to search here. What are they going to search to make your ad populate? And to connect you to people who really want what your service is and are looking for that service. We don't really want people that are searching for things that aren't really related to your service. And there can be these little areas that, make your ad populate, and you don't want to waste that click and that spend. So we want to make sure that we are populating right in front of your audience when they are searching for you. And that's the beauty of search engine marketing. They're much more likely to purchase through you when they're searching for what you're offering. It's like catching them while they're shopping. That's the perfect time to catch someone, as opposed to, back in the traditional methods, these cold calls, and it's like an interruption. This isn't an interruption at all. This is catching the person while they're searching for what you offer. That's why SEM is effective, especially in the search network. Okay. So just to kind of reiterate this further, somebody does a Google search. What we need to think about is what results are they after? What is the user intent? Typically, they're looking to solve a problem, and it's either through SEO keywords or PPC keywords that they're using. And there is a difference. So usually SEO is obtaining information. They're trying to learn more. They're in this learning phase. They're not in the lower funnel. So if we think about that funnel, we think about, that broad phase where they're just learning. And that's really where SEO helps, lead and nurture that lead to purchase your product. We are kind of looking at the people that are already in the lower part of the funnel. They are ready to buy. They want to buy your solution or your product or your service, and they're there. They're ready. These are people that we want to have clicking on your ads so that they do purchase. More about this because it's important. When we think of somebody that's in a curiosity learning phase, they will sometimes search something that indicates that they are looking to learn more. For example, here we go. Photography for beginners, how to take great pictures, learn photography for free. So if somebody was doing these searches and say your service is offering photography courses, right? Or maybe you are a photography business and you want them to purchase you for their wedding or whatever event that they have. We want to make sure that we are blocking out these searches, which they're not going to purchase through you. So we don't want them to get to your ad. So for example, what would we want to add here as a negative keyword? And it's okay if this doesn't cement right now. I'm just kind of teaching it. We would want to add beginners here as a negative keyword. This indicates that they're not even looking for services. Maybe they're looking to learn how to be a photographer, a competing photographer. So we don't want them your ad to populate. How to take great pictures. That's also how to take great pictures too. Like these are terms that they don't want your services. Learn photography for free. Learn for free. These are terms we would want to form a negative keyword list for so that your ad doesn't populate. Okay. Shopping around. So these are more searches that indicate the intent to discover and compare. So best camera for new photographers, quality digital cameras for beginners, and top rated cameras for vlogging. So these are definitely terms that also indicate they're not necessarily looking, they're researching, and they're not necessarily ready to purchase. They're still in that shopping around phase. It's the discovery and compare phase. They're comparing products. The buying decision phase, and this is more, I don't want to be confusing when I was saying photography services. For this search here, this would be more for a product. If you sell digital cameras, these would be searches that would indicate the intent is to purchase. So if they're actually looking for a specific product and you sell this product near me, that's always a good indicator that they are ready. They want something near them. They are ready to go and get it. Where to buy, Sony, Cyber. This is again an indicator that they are ready to purchase. So these are just the differences here between some of these search terms, which would be SEO related, both of these. We don't want any of these. We want people that are ready. They've already done their research. They're ready to buy. They know exactly what they want. They want to get it now near them. So these are just different terms that can indicate where the person is in their buyer journey. And we really just want this person that's ready. So here are ways that we're going to start to kind of understand how to organize our keywords. Again, though, you're not doing anything right now. So right now we're just reviewing these different areas, and then we're going to go further into this and build out our keywords into our workbook. So over to the left side here, these are going to be lead generation. These are going to be more service-based businesses. So over here is e-commerce, over here is lead generation, and then in the middle here is just kind of a mix. So if we are a lead generation, if you provide a service for people, these are going to be some of the terms that you're going to want to look at and include, and this is how we're going to build our keyword list. So the areas that we want to think about: city and service. So Denver estate planning lawyer, for example, Denver landscaping, Denver childcare. So these would be solid keywords to start with, and we would want to form a keyword list off of this and have our ad group based off that keyword list. So it would be forming that ad group, and these are the keywords, and that's that. We also want to include your service, and near me. This is a very popular search term for people that are lower in the funnel and are looking directly for your product or service. When you think about it, think about your behaviors and how you search for products and services that you need. You're on your phone and you're looking for a restaurant that's near you. You would search for it and you are very likely to hit near me. This is definitely a search term that we want to include, and we want to create a different keyword list specifically based off this. For example, estate planning lawyer near me, landscaping near me, childcare near me, and this would be its own unique ad group. Okay, for another ad group, so we've got 1 ad group, 2 ad group, 3 ad group here, and you don't have to do anything. This is just reviewing. City and business type. So Denver Will and Trust Law Firm. And we're going to go over some of these things that are related. Estate planning lawyer and will and trust law firm. If somebody did a search for either one, that can still populate that service. So because it's related, it can still populate, but that's jumping ahead. So for this one, city and business type. So you want to include the city, and then you want to include the actual business type, the law firm, not lawyer, law firm. Denver Lawn Care Companies. So instead of landscaping or grass cutting service, it would be the actual companies. Denver Daycare Center. So not child care, not the act or the service, but the actual business type. And then here, business type and near me. So will and trust law firm near me, lawn care companies near me, and daycare center near me. So it's going to be that same thing, business type, but near me. And then best. Best is definitely its own unique category. So right now, this would be ad group 1, ad group 2, ad group 3, ad group 4. Here, we would do best and service. So best, estate planning lawyer. People want someone that's good for services, right? Maybe you did a search for digital marketing agency for your business, right? So you might do best digital marketing agency, and you would have a variety populate. So we want a different specific ad group that targets best and the service that you offer. And then top, because top is also a search term that is frequently used. Top, business type. So best service, top business type, and then best product, service, and shopper. So here is where we have, for example, best running sneakers for women. So it includes the shopper. So for e-commerce businesses, we're going to look at the attribute and the product. So running sneakers, boat shoes, beach sandals. This is literally what you label your products. It's what your product is. And then the prospect and the product. So sneakers for marathon, or men's boat shoes, women's beach sandals. It's the, the person and the product. And then the shopper and the product. So here's for specific buyer search phrases, the price and the product. So hot tubs under 800, kids bikes under 500, ellipticals under 1,000. And then we also want for sale and what people would search for this and the product. So special buy hot tubs, they're special buy. We want to include those. Discount kids bikes, and then ellipticals on sale. So oftentimes we'll see something like wholesale, and that would be something that you would want to include in here as well. But moving on, because we will be creating those, and it will make sense when we do it. Okay, so now more about keywords, and this is specifically the match type of keyword. There was 4. This one, as of, I think it was February 2021, broad match modifier keyword type is no longer, and it is actually huge. This was kind of a big deal for us digital marketers for sure, because it really is an important way, and it was a very used way for us to target keywords. And I'll go over briefly why. Regardless, it's not a thing anymore. So we have broad match keywords, we have phrase match keywords, and we have exact match keywords. And this means absolutely nothing, but it will make sense. Okay, so let's learn further about these match types. And again, it's not going to make sense right now. It just won't. It will make sense when we create them. But right now, We're just going to get this general overview and understanding. So this is the setting that we would put our keywords at in order for ads to populate or trigger. Now, broad match is exactly that. It is broad. So ads may show on searches that relate to your keyword. For example, let's say you have this for your keyword, lawyer for tenants' rights. And somebody did a search for a story that had to do with a lawyer and a tenant, and it was a disagreement. It was a news story, and they want to know about what happened. They want to know the scoop. So that your ad could potentially populate for someone doing that search term. That's a perfect example of somebody that's not looking to get your services. They're just looking to know more about what happened in that story. So this could populate under a broad match scenario. So for phrase match, this is going to be the setting that we are actually going to be using. Phrase match would be the setting that we would put our keywords at, and it has ads that show on searches that include the meaning of your keyword. So it not necessarily just show on searches that relate, it has to include the meaning. So for example, real estate attorney, best landlord dispute law firm, residential lawyer near me. It would have to relate to these terms for your ad to populate. So it does have a bit of a moderate matching type. And within these quotations, it has to have those terms included or related terms that mean the same thing. It's the meaning of the term. And I know that's so confusing, but think of it like this. So real estate, what could also be real estate? Property. So property, lawyer, because attorney and lawyer are the same thing. It means meaning. It's the same thing. So essentially, real estate attorney and property lawyer could cause your ad to trigger if you had real estate attorney as a phrase match keyword, which is a good thing that we have more control with phrase match. Best landlord dispute law firm. This could also, as long as this phrase here is somewhere in the search term, that can cause your ad to populate. Residential lawyer near me, real estate attorney, residential lawyer. So that can also cause your ad to populate. And these are terms that we want to cause your ad to populate. Exact match. So exact match are ads that may show on searches that are the same meaning as your keyword. So real estate lawyer, residential attorney, it has to be this, and it can't be anything outside of it. For exact match, you would actually want a pretty good list so that you do kind of hit all of the areas. Exact match used to be that. It used to be your keyword had to exactly match what the person was searching. So real estate lawyer would have to be that. Your ad wouldn't populate for a property attorney because it's not that exact keyword. But now it's different. It has to have the same meaning. This has to include the meaning, and this has to relate. So broad match, I don't recommend. Some businesses that are kind of looking for more awareness, they have a big budget that they can spend, they're going to use broad match. Phrase match is very helpful in many ways because we can still reach searches and look through their search terms. And if we're seeing something that caused our ad to trigger, we add that term as a negative keyword. And then we can continue to fine tune and grow our keyword list and make sure our ads are populating to the right people. Exact match, it has to be the same exact meaning, and it can't really include anything else. Reiterating this right here. It is so important to pay attention to irrelevant search terms that triggered your ad and add those as negative keywords. This really is the make or break of your campaign. Your budget can be spent so quickly, and sometimes it's confusing to know what happened. I'm following everything here. Why am I not getting this? Or if you have a digital marketing agency that's running your ads, why are you not getting your ROI? You would want to go in and look at the search terms that triggered your ad to populate. And then you would say, Hey, why isn't this a negative keyword? I need this to be a negative keyword because my ad is showing up and I'm losing money. And it's important to pay attention to that. Say your business, it does really well. You're following along here. You're adding your negative keyword list. You're paying attention to what's happening, and you're just checking in every day. You see a search term, you're like, yeah, that shouldn't populate. So you add it as a negative keyword. It's really not that difficult. It's actually exciting to see what people are searching, and it's your business. So you're the most pumped about that. It's a good thing to be excited about that. So you'll want to pay attention to that area. It's not time consuming at all. It literally takes a second. You go into your ads, you click on search terms, you look what caused your ad to populate, you add what's wonky there as a negative keyword. When you grow and you need to focus on the day-to-day operations of your business, say you grow to a point where, hey, I need to focus on the business part now. I've got a lot of customers coming through. And you want to hire a digital marketing agency, which I totally recommend doing when you hit a certain growth point, because you can't do it all. You can't, or you could hire someone to help, or a freelancer. You can hire, there's so many talented people out there. One thing I would recommend is to make sure that if it's a digital marketing agency or a freelancer, that you pick someone that has a niche in what you do. If you don't, then it could be someone who just isn't experienced in that specific area. If somebody does e-commerce and you're a service-based business and they don't have much experience with that, it's really completely different ways to advertise. So you want to make sure you have someone that knows the industry, that knows the competitors and the competition, and that has these proven track records for success. And you want to ask that too. You want to see that. And then you want to, once you hire, you want to have access to your account. I would ask for account access to your Google Ads account. You want to go in and check to see the search terms that triggered your ads, and you want to make sure that they're doing their due diligence and adding them as negative keywords, because if they're not, then they're failing you. We will go into this. So this is just something that I really just want in your brain, that you want negative keywords are important. Just think of that. Negative keywords are important. I want that to be in your head. And then when we do our ads, I'm going to say, hey, do you remember that screen with that, big important message in that pinkish red alert box? Yeah. So I kind of want that to trigger. And then I'll be like, this is the area that you need to look at, and this is what you need to do. So this is just me kind of cementing this because it's immensely important. Okay. Now ads. Yay, this is the ad portion. There are some general rules with your ads. So again, think of it, we got the campaign level, we know which location we're targeting, we know the service that we're trying to focus on, and then we created our ad groups based off of our keywords. So we have these keyword lists, and each ad group has its own unique keyword list. And now we are at the ads portion, which is building the ad copy. Some general rules about this is that search campaigns are all text ads. There's no visual element to it. You're not going to have graphics. Those are display. So when you think of graphics, think of display ads. 2 to 5 ads max per ad group. You don't want to have this excessive list of ads. You want a focused list of ads, especially when you're first starting, and then you want to monitor them so that you can pause ones that aren't performing well and have the one that is performing well up and running. And it's not that hard to determine what is performing well. So those are, you don't want to have too many ads. It's going to be difficult to focus on, and honestly, it's really not going to be that helpful to you. So 2 to 5 ads max per ad group. And then if your daily budget is under $20, you really only want 1 to 2 ads. So just keeping it simple. If your daily budget is $20 or less, 1 to 2 ads, see which one is performing better, see why. And I'll show you how to determine this. This is all nothing that you know yet, so don't worry. And then you're going to pause the other one. And then headlines, descriptions, and content should be directly relevant to the headings, descriptions, and content in your landing pages. We are going to go into that. Landing pages are very important. If you don't have a website, or if you have a website that is totally faulty and is not easy to navigate, don't worry, I have really good suggestions and tools. I'm going to show you how to use them too. So don't worry about that. But I have to reiterate that the landing page experience is absolutely important. So when we set up your campaigns, it goes into a review mode because Google goes through and checks out your ad and then checks out your landing page. And they need to make sure everything is completely aligned so that they can grade you. You're getting graded. If the landing page experience is not good, and if the landing page speed is very slow and the user can't navigate through it and none of the keywords match up, it's not even relevant to your ad, then it's not going to get a good quality score and you're not going to do well. So it's immensely important. The landing page component is very important. We can't just, say, hey, I did an awesome job. I got my fantastic keyword list. I got my fantastic ad. Thank you, Jessica. And I think I'm ready to roll. No, we have to have a fantastic landing page as well. Okay, so let's look here. We've got the different components of your ads. Headlines. So this first area here is a headline. You have a certain amount of characters that you can use. I'm not even going to say anything more about that because I have it all built out for you. You don't have to worry about memorizing anything, but just kind of getting the general feel. Headlines. This is the display URL. So this is where that would go in your ad. This is just a general understanding of an ad. Then you have your description, and then you have extensions here. So these are the little areas that you can add some perks that would catch somebody or entice them to, want to click on your ad a little bit more. They're very important. I think extensions it can be very overlooked, and it's an important feature that can entice someone to go to you. We want to do everything right so that they go to you. So then once they do a search term, and it's a super relevant search term that triggered your ad to populate, and I'm just using mine here as an example. So they do a search term, your ad populates, they click on it. This is obviously, wait, actually I should quiz you here. Which is a search ad and which is a display ad? So hopefully you're saying this is a search ad because it doesn't have pictures, and this is a display ad because it has the pictures, and this wouldn't be populating in Google search. So if you did a search in Google, this wouldn't trigger Google search. So once they click on the ad, they're brought to a landing page, and this is the mobile view here. So you want the headline here to be the headline here. And it's not exact. So right here, 2 days to grow your business, 2 days to grow your business. And then SEM and PPC, it all has the same thing. Even if it's not said in the same exact way, it's all, and you can say it in the same exact way. That's totally fine too. Like that's not going to be a bad thing. And if it's not even a lazy way to do it, it may feel like it. But no, it's a very good way to do it because Google will like that. They'll say, okay, this is exactly what this is. Yeah, okay, good job. They want to make sure that people that are searching, they're able to get to information. They're Google, they want to say, use my search engine. We can get you to what you need. And that's why they're grading you. We have to be on the good graces of Google and do our due diligence with making our ads in order to do well. So you want all of these things to be matching. And then to further reiterate here, just an example, someone did a search term. Here is the headline. Here is the display URL. And then this is a call extension here. Here is the description. And then actually the search term, that search term will populate in a boldened way in your ad description. So, and that's a helpful feature too. You don't have to do anything to make that happen. It's that Google does that. So don't worry about that. But yeah, it's a helpful feature. And then here are some extensions. These are site link extensions. There's a whole variety of different extensions, but these are site linking extensions. These are actually extensions too. Pick your budget, show ads locally, no budget minimums. So these are they're called call out extensions, and they're just these little blurbs of the features that you want to highlight that would be enticing, that people would want to purchase. And then here are display ads. So we've talked a lot about search ads. Here are display ads. And these are strong examples of solid display ads. So really you want to make sure you got the logo here. So here we go. We see the logos all in these. You want the logo present. You've got the brand name. Yep. You've got the benefit right there. So Square Terminal, take payments for one low rate. So like it's there, it's clear. Don't put your annual checkup on hold. This is something that, it speaks to the person. They're like, hey, it's a reminder. You want to make sure that your display ad, that the benefit is really, really, really clear. Displays in some ways, I think it can be considered a form of an interruption in some ways. Not really, because it's not like it's aggressively in your face, but it is something that's kind of there, like on the website, that you don't want to be abrupt and obnoxious necessarily. You want to be relevant there, and you want to have the message clear. If you have too much on there, it's going to be confusing. And then you want the call to action. So the call to action here, it's really a button that someone would click on. So when people say CTA, that's all it is. It's call to action. It's that area to kind of click on and to move forward. Book an appointment, shop now, learn more, shop now. So it's that action taken. And then, as long as you have a good product image, a clear value proposition, you really don't need any type of creative genius. It really is that simple. And I'm going to be showing you how to create your own ads. It's not hard, and it's simple. And we're going to use the same type of formula here in the template that I have, that you're just going to plug it in. You're going to copy and paste what we built together and plug it in, and you're going to have an awesome looking ad. And it doesn't have to be any type of genius. Of course, I don't ever want to underestimate the work that graphic designers do. For display ad purposes, it's not that hard though. That doesn't need a creative genius. Graphic designers are needed in so many ways, and we all need them. But for display ad purposes, you do not need to have a degree in anything. So we'll be using Canva to show you how to create your own display ads, and it'll be a good feature. And then here are shopping ads. Again, if you don't do any shopping ads, then you can ignore this section here. You can kind of just skim through and you can ignore this. And I think actually this is the last one I'm covering, so you can actually probably just skip to the end of the video. So shopping ads show up before organic or paid listings. So it's always that top area here. This right here, these are shopping ads. If someone did a search for winter coats, here we are. We've got the winter coats here. And unlike Google display and search ads, there is no keyword bidding when you're running shopping ads. It's like really just trying to rank for keywords. Bids are set up on a product category. And really what we do is we create a Google Merchant Center account, and we create an individual product feed. It will be doing that step by step, so don't think too much about it now, but it's a little bit of a different process. Some of the best ways that we can optimize for the shopping feed, really want to make sure that the titles of all your products are friendly and to searchable terms. Leveraging your promotions for sure. We want to include high quality images, and we want to use high volume relevant keywords in your descriptions. So your shopping feed is pretty much your way of communicating your available inventory to Google's advertising channel. And then what we do is we set up a data feed that cross-references with both the searches for the individual shopper and your bid. So that kind of determines where you fall. That's why it's kind of different than keywords. It's not really setting up that list. It's really about your product feed. And that's why getting that down pat is immensely important. And then segmenting your Google shopping campaigns is really important too. It is a lot like search or display campaigns in many regards. You just really need to make sure that your marketing dollars aren't being wasted. And this is all through negative keywords. Negative keywords I can't really emphasize enough on. It just will help you narrow down your searches. It'll weed out irrelevant clicks. that could eat up your ad spend, which is never a good thing. And it just gives you more control over what your products show up for. So by segmenting it, you're creating an opportunity for your ads to appear in Google's shopping funnel for the right people. And really that's what it's all about. And shopping ads, that's the last overview here. So now we are ready to get into the good stuff. Let's get started. I just went over a lot of stuff with you, and it's okay if it didn't completely cement, but we are now ready to start making our ads, and we're going to do it in a way that makes sense, and we're going to do it in a way that is simple and way easier than you ever thought it could be. So that's the next lesson, and thanks so much for tuning in here with me. Let's get started on building our ads. Just click on the next lesson.